Con, you can guess what we're doing. Trail talk. Trail talk with me and Mukunda and this. Woohoo! This trail I'm so blessed to live by. Satnam, everybody. Satnam. So I just want to encourage you to be in nature and feel autumn coming. It's a little hard in California because we're so steamy and hot. So maybe get out early and feel the in-between time. So we're in September and we are going towards September 23rd, the equinox. It's Meban. It is a time for the goddess to feel the earth. It is a time to start thinking about how has this year gone? What have we been able to harvest? This week, we have a new moon in Virgo coming, and it's going to be at 21 degrees, and 21 degrees is all about believing. So with Virgo, it's like, can we believe in our strategy? We have been under immense healing. Are you healing? Are you healing? Sometimes healing feels like a war, right? And I want to talk about that. You know, what is my harvest? My harvest is a change in the way I treat myself. And this is one of the biggest things I've ever had to face. I don't know about you, but sometimes how I get myself to do things is cruelty. You know, I compare myself, I judge, I put demands on myself. You get this done, Marcia, or I don't know what. It's an energetic. I don't really even have to say it, but it's been breaking my heart. Right? If I'm going to be sharing astrology and teaching Kundalini, do I need to beat myself all the way to the Kundalini stage? So if you have a stuckness in your mind, maybe it's about money, maybe it's about an addiction, maybe it's about a relationship, and maybe you need to leave the relationship, or maybe you need to enter into a relationship. Whatever it is, what we're addressing here in Virgo is the way we think. And is it loving and productive? This is the harvest that we are going to clean up so that when we come to September 23rd, Great Divine Flow, me, MahanrajKaur, and my hubby, Maharaj Singh, always do free workshops on these big portals. Why? Because it's so important that we come together. It's so important that we use the energy to clean up, to start again. And so what's happening is the idea that as we review this year, what is it that's still hanging on? And I think so many of us are really getting into our self-abuse. This is something that needs to be cleaned up because we see so much abuse in the world, do we not? And we are the direct source where all this begins. So you're cleaning that up is huge. So let me talk to you. Let's get real here. It is not as easy as saying, oh, you know, I'm kind of mean to me in my head about this. I'm going to stop. No, it doesn't work that way, right? It is so much bigger. How does it work? It takes dedication. For me, lots of prayer. Literally dropping to my knees. Okay, I'm being mean to me again. Okay, I'm being mean again. Okay, I'm being mean again. And there were times I felt like this is not helping. This is not shifting. This is just stuck energy. But I didn't stop. I stuck with it. Don't stop believing in you. Don't stop believing in the healing. Don't stop. And so what happens is, you know, then, this is the good stuff, then the soul starts to really communicate. Your intuition starts to really communicate with you because it's a boon. It's like the universe and the soul realize, oh my God, she's trying so hard. Let's help her. And it's not that they don't always want to help us, but you know how we are. We don't take direction very good. And we may do, you know, like if you're hungover, right? Not saying you've ever been, but I know I've had my days. And you're holding onto the toilet. Oh God, please, if you'll just save me from this one, I'll be such a good person, right? No, we're not talking about those prayers. We're talking about the ones that I have honestly done everything I can. And Lord, I know that this way of thinking is keeping me between me and my relationship with you and me and my greatness. We have a greatness to find in this life. We have a greatness to find. A greatness of being a lover to someone who deserves us. A greatness of having a job that is able to serve others. You know, whether we are a waitress or when I was an underwriter and now I serve up Kundalini, we are in service, whatever we do. And it's our opportunity to be the example of the light. So back to the harvest. We are harvesting out these weeds so that this year, what we can nestle together by the end of the year, by the winter solstice, by the new year, is a new version of us. And it isn't just sketched, okay? Because we're dealing with the sketch right now. It is colored in, it is 3D, it's real, okay? So, praying, but also harder kriyas. If you are a Kundalini person, you need to do something that the mind doesn't want to do in Kundalini. And here's why. It's not just for suffering, swear to God. It's more than that. What happens is you really get in the trenches with you about what you're like when you're doing something you don't like, what you're like when you are challenged, and you start to find that neutral channel. You start to develop this part of you that can do hard things. You know, that's what the Christ said to the apostles. You know, they were always like, you know, Master, do you really want to go on that hill and gather a bunch of people? We're going to get, you know, in trouble. You know, the Romans are going to find us. And the Christ would say, are you ready to do hard things? We got to do hard things. And they're not hard physically. They're really not even that hard mentally. We're just used to the softer way. And as we have aged since the time of the Buddha and Krishna, then the Christ, then Nanak, what has happened? More and more comfort, more and more ease, more and more ways to not be physical. This is on purpose, y'all. Your body, like I'm out here walking on the trail, I'm using my body, I'm walking, I'm sweating, you know, there's some raindrops coming. I think I'm going to get rained on. Is that awesome? But my point is, we have convenienced ourselves right out of the body. Some people, you know, they don't even go anywhere. They just virtually do it always. We have to use the body. We have to use the body. We have to be on the earth. This is where the healing is. The great Master Christ, that's what he said. There is no ascension without the human body. Why do you think a great soul like Nanak, or a great soul like Buddha, or a great soul like the Christ would do this to himself? Because the body is the key. The body is like this amazing biological alchemist, really. It's the alchemist. And so the soul gets in here with this physicality and this brain and has the most challenging but beneficial journey ever. So you got to have a physical, you know, kriya, something like, right? And some minutes, 11 minutes of inconvenience. Right now, I'm practicing to get ready for the fall equinox, because at the fall equinox, part of what we're doing besides the ninth purdy is going to be the Subang Kriya. So we want a physicality. We want to journal about how we have this mental tendency, and we want to pray, Lord, take this from me. Lord, take this from me. What you notice is when we desire to have a shift, then the ego digs its heels in, right? That's when it says, you know, no, I have to eat cake every day or whatever it is, right? And you just push back on that and you just hit those knees. Lord, help me not eat that cake. Lord, help me. And when you make it through bedtime and to the other side, whoo, you did it. Okay? So this journey of you right now is the in-between time. This is the cleanup of the harvest. And also notice what's going right. You know, what is going right? Make sure you let that bloom in your heart. Like for me, the studio's doing good. Like, love that, Marcia. You know, I tend to be, are you like this? Like, oh, that's good. Check. well, I need this to be good and this, right? No, part of the harvest is harvest. What's going good? Oh my gosh. Anna, my little kitty, she's been so healthy for a while. I'm going to take that into my harvest, right? The relationship with Tony and I, it's deeper than ever. I'm going to take that into my harvest. Abundance is growing at the studio. We had 22 people doing Kundalini yesterday. It's growing. We've actually changed some of our pricing and we're being loved for it. So what is in your harvest? Harvest that in. And then here's the thing. So then you have a harvest to nurture yourself from, right? And to give you strength. So these weeds, and what I'm thinking is these weeds are very, very personal, like a thought form that's keeping you in an addiction. We're all addicted. We're addicted to fear. And our minds pick a certain area where it's like, gotcha. Now, just know your mind is beautiful. You have a beautiful mind. Your mind did not set out to screw you over. All of these ways of controlling ourselves were put in place at a time when we were very young. And it made sense. It actually gave us structure and stability. It's just now you have spiritually grown. This is like graduation, y'all. This is about you knowing, oh, I don't have to beat myself over with a stick. I can actually move and grow with kindness. I don't have to feel like I'm the worst person in the world to be able to have a dynamic change or growth in my life. I can actually love myself there. So, in the meantime, in this in-between time, know that we are moving into the season of Libra. That's where the equinox always starts, a cardinal sign. Libra is the energy of receiving. So as we use the Virgo energy today, we are being able to decide how to connect more to God through loving ourselves. We are going to experience the new moon on Thursday. It's going to be at 21 degrees and asking you to trust your feelings and to use those feelings to connect to God, to love yourself deeper so that you can believe in your harvest. Because the next week on Saturday, the 23rd, is the equinox. I love you so much. I don't know how much you'll see me for the next 10 days because on Tuesday, I am going to England. So I'll be able to get that fall vibe at Stonehenge. It's so interesting because for probably over a decade, I've been using the picture of Stonehenge for the solstices to in my marketing. There's something like that's where it is. I'm so druid. And when I was younger, my mom got this National Geographic. There was 2 books that stood out to me. One was the monolithics of the earth, the pyramids, Stonehenge, these big structures that they didn't understand back in the 70s, why they were there, but they thought they had magic. And the book that was space, the sun, Saturn, everything. So for all of that, as long as I can remember, Stonehenge has been calling me. As long as I can remember this beautiful sky beyond these clouds, I've always known was these amazing stars. What have you always known? And what has called you all your life? If there's anything I can encourage you to do today, is remember that what has always called you since you were a small child. And whether you read about it, right, or in these times you can go on God and you can really indulge yourself in learning about something that has called you since you were a little kid. I love you so much. Have the best, most beautiful Sunday. Until we meet again, Satnam.